skill. You're not about what you're doing.
Mhm.
And so it drives me nuts. And and Hank has done a really good job, and you've been a part of it, of just breaking it down to really simple 50, 25, 1.
Yeah.
Following the success code and getting going. And you've heard it from Richard, you heard it from others, and I know everyone's kind of feeling it a little bit about, hey, the market's changing, something's going on. We know that there's a storm coming, we just don't know what that storm is. And I think right now is we have to understand is that storm that's coming is going to bring rain. We don't like rain, but rain is necessary to make things grow. Grass grows because of rain. This so that rain that's coming is there. The market right now, what we're feeling is what's dirt. We need dirt to grow. Like seeds have to have dirt because dirt provides nutrients and things. So we need the rain, we need the dirt. And now it's what do we do?
Yeah.
Realtors that have been in the business 3 to 5 years, especially as a big group, and the success code, how to follow. We got time on task, we got skill set, then we get to time on task, and then that leads to experimentation, and then experimentation leads to victory, and that victory leads to confidence, and then gets us into momentum. The problem is over the last 3 to 5 years, agents didn't need a skill set, and agents didn't need to experiment. They just had to have time on task and show up, and they started getting victories.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And now the market is changing a little bit, and they're like, "What do I do? Can't do this. I don't know." It's like, go build skill set, which they're doing by jumping on your call. And what you're doing for the whole month of May is you're investing in skill set with people.
Appreciate
The thing
that.
that's got you where you're at that the others need to follow that are in your world is you're building yourself daily. You're
Ryan.
the most important
Appreciate it.
asset. And if you build yourself daily and you treat yourself like an asset, you're going to grow. So
Hanging
the
around
people in
people
your
like
world
you,
that
man.
got it, and
Yeah.
that's and I'm hanging around people like you. I'm hanging around people hanging around people like Richard. It's who you hang with and how you're growing into it. So it's like, what are you doing? So when you said you're leveraging everyone else, you're just bringing people together that talk and do the exact same thing you're doing. You're invested in yourself. So agents, they're jumping on, invest in yourself. Experiment more. Put in the work. Try everything. Keep throwing things against the wall until it sticks.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think that's something I need to work on more is like putting in the work because at least for myself, I felt like I put in the work in the very, very beginning. And I don't want to say I got soft, but maybe I got a little soft. And, referrals started to come in. It started going kind of smoothly. And like, I mean, this is probably not the best way to say it. I see the writing on the wall. I see a recession coming, kind of. So it's kind of like I need to make sure I'm doing the right day to day tasks to make sure I secure, my family's future and help out the people around me, if that makes sense.
That's it. And
So
you focus on what you're in control of. We're not in control of the economy. We're not in control of the interest rates. We're not in control of all the stuff that leads to fear. But we are in control of what we do and how we talk to people.
yeah, no, that
And
makes sense.
from building your human base and understand your A's, B's, and C's and D's, it's really just how do we find everyone and look at people on a daily basis and we identify them that these are humans with needs.
Yeah,
And do we know what they need?
makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Do you know what the people in your world need?
Yeah,
If you don't, go have a conversation with them and find out what they need. They don't need you to put their house on the market. They need something from you, but then when you do that, they'll list their home with you.
yeah. No, and that makes sense. That was something I had an issue with when I first got started. It was kind of like, can you sell? Like, do you want to list? Do you want to buy? And then I realized, like, the more value you'd add to people, the more I guess like top of mind you're going to be. And it doesn't even have to go back to, selling their house or helping them buy a home, but you add value to them. They're going to ultimately add value to you in somehow, some way. I feel like. And it just goes back to listening, being a good person. I know your coach, something that another coach told me when I first got started was being in real estate allows you to get paid for being a good person. Like if you're nice to
Yeah.
everyone else, well, maybe nice is not the right word, but kind, add
Mm-hmm.
value, it's going to come back to you. Maybe not through that person, but it's going to come back in some way or form. What are
Exactly,
your thoughts on that?
exactly. No, I 100% agree. And I was having this conversation yesterday with someone, and they started to argue with me at first, but as I told more, they're like, "Oh, I completely get it." Is I believe every relationship is has a monetization to it, and everyone that comes into my world, I look at going, "Hey, they're coming into my world for a reason, and that reason I can monetize.
Yeah.
Whether it's someone who is going to help me with my health, someone who's going to be showing, living a life where they're a better father, and I'm like, oh man, I can grow. Everything can be monetized, and when you look at that, and you come from that kind of range, it's like that monetization doesn't have to happen today. That monetization can show up in a way that you didn't even know, and it all shows up because of the relationship.
That makes sense. I didn't think about it like that, and totally. So that definitely makes a lot
Yeah,
of
so
sense.
everything looks that way. So when you get people close to you, look at how you can monetize that. Monetization can be, I'm just a better person. I met someone because of this. I've got dialogue I can talk to with someone.
Yeah.
Anything. And you're a great example that I want people to go and look at. Is if go check out Joel's social status. Go see what he's doing and what he's posting. And the thing that I want you guys to know is find your niche, find what you're good at, find what people like to hear and what you enjoy saying. Because whatever you're into, there's more people in your current market that are into that than need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate right now. But everyone that's into that at some point needs a roof over their head or they need you to help them with where they're living.
That is true.
So when you connect with what they are interested in and you get known, you're being heard, you're being noticed, and you're being known in that mind share, real estate just comes along for the ride. The problem is we start jamming a square peg into a round hole all the time as realtors, and we talk into something that nobody cares about at the moment.
That makes
It's
good.
and it's understanding the trajectory of what goes on in the real estate market is we fight like piranha realtors for the 7 to 9 months that people are in market. We fight like piranha. We spend money on Zillow. We do this. We call. We knock on doors. We do all this stuff. We post that we're at closings. We post that market's going crazy, and all we're doing is scaring people more. Like we do all this stuff like idiots, because that's what someone told us
True.
to go do. But we do nothing with that 7 to 11 years that they're out of market.
I never
You're
thought about it
doing
like that.
something with the 7 to 11 years that they're out of market. You're talking about positivity. You're talking about this. You're leading people to growth. You're doing all these things. And then what happens when they think about real estate? Joel's the man.
That makes sense. I never thought about it like in that way. I was always just
Yeah,
told like add value, but I never thought about it in
you
that
are.
context.
You
That
are. Look
makes
at the
sense.
value you're adding.
I definitely I never thought about it that way. Because again, like you, Richard, everyone else, like I just keep seeing y'all add value, and it's like, shoot, I want to be like them. So
You
where can
are. You
I
are.
get in and add value? To be honest.
Yeah. You took time out of your schedule and organized this for brand new agents.
No,
You're adding value.
appreciate that.
No one else is doing this to these
No,
people. You are. You're adding value. Just do what you're doing. Stay in your lane.
definitely.
Stop trying to confuse it.
That is true.
And
And
that's with
that's
everyone.
speaking of that, since you said stay in your lane, don't try to confuse it. That's something that I recently heard maybe like a month ago or 2 months ago. Because there's always different ways to lead generate, whether you're in real estate or any type of business or entrepreneur. But they were saying pick a lead generation style that works with your personality. So,
Hmm.
for instance, I have a friend of mine. He used to be in law enforcement with me. Now he's in real estate with me. He works for sell by owners because that's his personality. That's just what he does. I work with my sphere a whole lot more because that's my personality and that's what I do. And I realized kind of like if I stay in my lane, it works. When I start deviating out of that, it's like I'm spending way more time, way more effort for way less results. Um, so just to your point, it just makes sense. Like stay in your lane and just bring as much value to that lane as possible, I
Yeah.
guess.
And look at all the ways it shows up in your life in different areas. You're You work out.
Hmm.
I've seen you on Facebook. Seen you do. You have a routine, right?
Oh yeah,
And
early in
it
the
works.
morning.
Now that isn't the routine you started with, is it?
It is
When you
not.
first start,
No.
no. It's experimentation that got you to go, hey, this is where I'm getting results. I'm going to keep doing this. You can pick up a magazine, you can go on a website, do anything, and someone is going to give you some kind of workout.
Yeah, that's true.
And now, in order for that, you've got to change what you're doing, go try that, and then you got to wait to see if you're going to get the results. And in the meantime, you lost the results that you currently were having.
That makes sense.
When you find what works for you, don't change. That's the
Yeah,
experimentation part. There's 99 million ways to make money in this business.
yeah.
Stop chasing the fancy object.
That's
Go
what I'm.
do it.
I'm guilty of that. I'll go in one lane that works, and then I'll see a shiny object, and I'll be like, "Oh man, I want to go chase that."
Yeah,
But luckily, I have a coach who kind of helps reel me in. And that's the good thing about you being a coach as well. Like you're able to help people reel that in. Like, no, stay in your lane, do what works.
yeah,
That makes
do
sense.
because it and we need that other voice. I mean, by ourselves, we all know what to do,
Hmm.
but we're distracted.
Yeah,
Like your coach isn't giving you information that you don't already know. He's just helping you find it.
yeah,
You
that
know,
makes
you're
sense.
you're
And keep me accountable, making sure I
and keep
do
you
that.
accountable to it and keep you
Yeah,
on it. And that's because we can't do that all by ourselves. If we could, we'd all be doing it. I mean, there's a
yeah,
reason why Tiger Woods, who's the best golfer to ever walk the planet, has all the coaches that he has.
yeah.
He doesn't need anyone to tell him how to play the game better. He needs someone to tell him what he already knows and to stay doing that.
That makes sense. That's true. That really is true, man.
I mean, none of the guys that he has coaches can play the game like him.
Yeah, that is that is true. They probably wish,
So
but I mean, they're good big coaches, so that works too.
they're good at that. They're good at helping him into it, and we all need it.
Yeah,
We all need it. So, and I think we just confuse it too much. I think if I was a new agent today, I'd be leaning in heavy to YouTube. I'd be documenting everything I'm doing, you know, and then keeping it for a future revenue point down the road. I'd be out there communicating with people. I'd be doing the 50-25 one like I'm currently doing. I just
it's
get
awesome.
into
Yeah,
conversations and figure it out and just go and when you my first year in the business 25 years ago,
yeah,
I had a breakdown. I was like, oh, this sucks. I sold 2.5 million in volume in 1997. I thought I was the king of the world. That was, today would be like I was no one. But at the price points where the average
I was about to
price
say
was
that's
like
a lot of
85,000, it was a
transactions.
lot of transactions. But here's the kicker. I did that, and in my first year, I got my 1099. I was getting married, starting a family, and all this stuff. I made $18,000
Yeah. Oh
because the
man.
broker took all my money, did all these splits, and did all this. And I was like, I can't keep doing this for 18 grand. I worked my tail off. And then I just realized, hey, I got to go and get in a relationship with more people.
Hmm.
I just have to go. And so my breakdown led to my breakthrough. And it was like, dude, I just put a simple thing in place. I needed to meet with someone every day. If I
Yeah.
didn't meet with someone every day, what did I really do? And that appointment was one of three things. It was either someone that I could enter into a listing agreement with, someone I could enter into a buyer agreement with, or someone that I could build a referral source with. And you notice I didn't put in there like any time frame. Someone that, because like you hear from Mike Ferry, if they can't buy in 7 days, throw them in the garbage. That's not me. I don't run that way. But it was, can they list their home? Maybe they can list their home in a year. Maybe they'll list it in 3 years. I don't know. But let's go talk to them now. They could buy a home in this frame. Let's go talk to them now. And if I met with 20 of them in a month, what's your average sale price in your area?
Uh, Around 430, 450.
450. So let's just do easy math. It's $12,000 of earning potential per average sale price. So your one appointment a day is $12,000 of
That's
potential.
that's a good appointment. Yeah.
You do five of those in a week, you've got $70,000, $60,000 sitting there in 1 week. You've got $240,000 of potential in a month.
That adds quick.
One
Yeah.
appointment a day. And now I don't think every appointment's going to turn into monetization at that particular point, but it keeps building. And we look at the potential. You're like, what did I do that could have brought in $12,000? So I just put a simple standard. I knew what my number was, and my number was much smaller back in that day. It was a $3,000 day, but it's inflation. Things are different now. But so I knew I was in control of making $3,000 happen. So if I couldn't get a buyer, I couldn't get a seller, where could I build a referral source? There was days that I pulled over and stopped at a bank and went in and asked who their loan rep was and sat down and talked with the loan rep.
Never thought
So I
I
mean,
like that.
whatever you need is sitting out there. Just how are you willing to get outside of your comfort zone
Yeah. See, I
and
like
treat
that.
it like that? Treat it like it's a monetization. That drove me. I was like, oh man, every day if I didn't meet with someone, I'm leaving the opportunity for $3,000 on the table. Today you're leaving $12,000 on the table.
It's a lot. Yeah. I don't want to leave that
And
on the
think and
table.
think about it. How crappy does your conversion rate have to be to make it worth your while?
It can be if you do 1%, I mean, that's 12, what is that? Around like 12 grand every 3. Still most people's salary, if you multiply that. So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's not a
yeah,
bad conversion rate. I mean, it's a bad
and
conversion rate, but it's not bad money, put it that way.
no, I mean, what 8 deals gets people to basically six figures?
Yeah. That's not bad.
You don't have
Yeah.
to win that much.
Yeah. I didn't think about it like that.
You just
That
got
is
to get on
smart.
the field and play.
That you just got to get out there. That is true.
Yeah, and it's like that's the problem that agents have right now is they just don't know how to get on the field and play. They're
Yeah.
all they're thinking about is winning. I want to do this. I want to do that because that's what I see other agents. That's what people are telling me. Just do the daily activity. You're gonna stumble into the business.
Yeah, you hit on a point that kind of makes me think. I know, I talk to a lot of agents, and when I first started, I did that too, like a whole lot of analysis by paralysis or whatever you call it.
Mhm.
And people were telling me what you said, like get into action, and I thought I had to have everything perfect. Um, can you speak to that, or like what things do you tell people that help make it click? I guess to like just do it.
Yeah, and it goes back to, and you know this statement, and this was life changing for me when I realized that people don't care what I know until they know that I care.
That is
That was
true.
transformational. So go show them you care. Nobody
Yeah.
gives a crap what you know. When they know you care, that's all that matters. When they can feel you don't care, they question what you know.
I mean, that's true because I mean, there's a lot of other agents out there that probably know the same amount as I do, if not more. And it's just like to your point, it's like who cares the most? Like who
No,
really cares for that
no,
person? And they can feel that. That makes
and
sense.
I just brought a broker on board yesterday on the EXP, and I've been with EXP for 6 months. I've been in the world a long time, just waiting for things to kind of happen. But he had a bunch of questions. I didn't know any of the freaking answers.
Yeah.
And I told him, I don't know, but I will get it. You get me
Yeah.
the question you have, I will get you the answer. And I'll get it quick. Like that's all people care about. They don't care what you know. Get out of your way. You don't have to know everything. You just have to stay one chapter ahead of the person that you're working with. You don't have to have read the whole book.
Yeah. Speaking of too, since you mentioned it, because I mean, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you just hit on
Yeah.
something too. You said you don't have to, have done the whole book. I know for myself, books have been really kind of off topic, but books have been really influential in my growth, at least as an
Hmm.
entrepreneur. Do you have any books or like a book that you recommend? Like, hey, this really has helped me out, or something that you recommend to other people?
Definitely. I mean, there was two books that had the biggest impact on me. One was Relentless. That's a huge book to read. That Tim Grover. Relentless is great. He was a physical coach for Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. When
Yeah.
you get an idea of how these guys, how their brains worked and where they're at, you start realizing, hey, I'm not that weird.
I
And
like it.
so that was a great one. And essentialism is huge. Read essentialism, and you realize that hey, why am I trying to please everyone? Why am I doing all this when it's just about the one thing that really matters?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many books you can see all around me. There's books and stuff that you go, but I just truly believe like every day, my schedule's broken into three areas. My day starts off with mindset. What am I doing for my mindset? What is good for me for my energy? You know, what do you read? What do you listen to? Who do you spend time with? I get my kids on the bus. I take them to school. I have a cup of coffee. I meditate of some sort. And what do you do to get your mindset right? Because without the right mindset, you can have all the actions and accountability in the world, but you're not going to get there. So I take care of that. That shows up in my calendar every day because what you focus on expands. The next part is action. What is your actions going to be for that? So when my mindset's right, I listen to podcasts. I'm consuming books. I read things. I physically want to read a book, a printed book, every month. I consume an Audible book every week, and I watch YouTube videos. It's like, what are you doing into there?
Yeah.
And make sure that the people you're hanging out with are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you can,
And
all your time is available for you. I just like reading a book because it's good for your mind just looking at it.
yeah.
But I can consume books on Audible. Why listen to the radio? Why listen to that kind of stuff if I'm in the car? Throw on a book.
And to your point with that, I mean, you just kind of helped me out. Because I mean, I listen to audibles all the time. I want to, just have the time to like sit down and like read a book, like in my hands. But I've been telling myself the story, like, I don't have the time. But, to your point, I'm sure you're, busy, you're productive as well, but you probably schedule in that time and make the time. And that's just something I
Mm-hmm.
need to do. If it's important, schedule it in. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah. I
just
mean, no,
changed my mindset on that.
yeah. And that's having that focus of getting out of busyness and get into business. We all have the same amount of minutes, hours in a day. Whether you're whether you're running a Fortune 500 company or you're running your real estate company, everyone has the same amount of time. They just find a way to use their time better.
Yeah.
So you don't need more time. You just need less distraction.
And do you
And
find, because I mean, that's something oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, I just use my time a little bit more accountable, and I'm constantly looking at how do I use it better. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm getting there. It's a journey. Like my son plays soccer. 2 days a week. I'm an hour and a half on my practice. I want to be there. I got my headphones in. I'm listening to a book while I'm watching him play. Like that's an hour and a half. That's you know 2 weeks you get a book done just a
That
practice.
is smart.
Like so I don't have to go create and carve out time. I just got to use the time more effective.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And then another thing, because I mean, that's one of my non-negotiables. My kids play soccer, and I'm like, no matter what, I'm at their practice.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't negotiate with that time. But
No.
to your point, you were talking about distractions. Did you ever find it hard to say no to other people? Because sometimes I find that hard. Like everyone's trying to pull me in other directions, and I want to help out. Um, but I know I need to say no more to certain things. Do you ever find that hard, or what are your thoughts on that, or if you can speak to
Definitely.
that?
I mean, I think if you say you don't find it hard, you're lying. I mean, at some point you do, and you just have to. Hank has been really good at pounding this into me over the years. Is when you get an outcome you don't desire, you've got to raise your standards.
Mm,
So, do you have a standard in place? Do you have it in at a point in my career? I'm in Michigan, so I was blessed with the fact that I walked around with a map that I service all the time. People say, "Where do you sell real estate?" I'd be like, "Do you live in here? If you live in here, I can help you." But I can sustain that. But I needed to get the oxygen mask on myself, so I would go and do anything.
yeah,
But as you get your business going, it's like, what are you? You can't sustain it. So what are you saying yes to, and what are you saying no to? When you say yes to something, you are saying no to something. So when you look at it right now, you're saying yes as a new agent to anything. but you're saying no to the things that are more important. Like you said, it's non-negotiable. You're going to be at your kids' games.
Yeah,
So you saying yes to go help someone was saying no to your kids.
you got a point.
So whatever you're doing, you're saying yes or no to. So you're just starting to ramp that up. Now the problem that people have is they hear that and they're like, I'm going to go all Joel. You can't go all Joel or all Mike in one day. You got to get there. You know, people don't see what it took for you to get to where you're at. They just see the perspective of you in the moment. They don't see how the work. They don't see the iceberg below the water line. They see the
That is
tip of
true.
it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like they don't see all this stuff. And I just know that life is a game. I treat it like a game. I just have to win 51% of the time and I win the game.
I like that.
I don't need to win 100.
Yeah.
But if I win 51% of the time, it leads to 100. You can't win 100 without getting to 51. So just focus on winning.
That is true. Oh, that is true.
Stop focusing on being perfect. Just win.
That's and again, that's what I my issue was when I first started trying to be perfect. But now I realize like just getting into action, kind of like what you were saying, just go for it. It's kind of what you need to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Do you remember the who won the Super Bowl? Let's just go for that because that it's funny how fast people forget things.
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie, man. I had a bunch of deals going on at that time. I don't
Okay.
even remember.
Okay. The Los Angeles Rams won.
Yeah.
Okay. See, it's funny. It's like oh, like they won the Super Bowl. They were like you forget how fast they won. Do you remember the score?
I do not.
Definitely not. Like
Yeah.
people don't. But you just remember who wins.
It's true. That
And at
is
the
true.
moment, they probably felt like kings. Like I won by this or I scored this. Yeah, that's great. But nobody
Yeah.
cares. They
That
just
is
care who
true.
won.
I never thought about it like that. Like they don't care, yeah, the score, they just the outcome, like the final.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't. They don't
Because I
care.
mean, even when you think about that, and then I'll let you go real quick, but it's like when I do stuff for my clients, I don't tell them, all the BS that goes on that I might have to get from the other agent or all these other things, because they hired me to get their home sold or to buy a home.
Hmm.
They don't care about all the stuff. Well, most of them don't care about all the stuff in between as long as I get the job done. So that makes sense, man.
No, and
That definitely makes sense.
someone said this to me years ago, and I think it's a great analogy. We learn through stories. So when
Yeah,
someone tells you the right story, you learn and you put it the right way. It's like, you know, if someone told you how sausage was made, you wouldn't eat it.
that's fair. That is fair.
So don't tell them what they don't need to know.
Yeah, that is true.
They just want a really good sausage. They want to eat. They're enjoy, but don't tell them how it's made unless they want to go there. Most people don't want to know.
If they want those details, I'll let you know. But if you
Yeah,
don't,
are you sure you
we'll
want
leave
to
it up.
know,
Exactly.
or you just want to see how it looks?
Just want to see the finished product.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
man.
it. So so don't give them stuff they don't want.
Thank you. Well, shoot, Mike. I want to be respectful of your time,
I
and it's your
appreciate
birthday,
it. Yeah,
so
thank you so much.
no
No, I
problem. I
had a
just want
great
to say
time. If anything I can do to ever help your group, you just let me know, and I'm there, man.
sounds good. I appreciate you so much, and happy birthday again, man.
All right, thanks so much.
See you.
See ya.
Bye
Have a
bye.
great one.
Oh, you too.